Forget big noon kickoff. It's big 11 a.m. kickoff in the Central Time Zone. The Illini have playoff aspirations, and a win over Ohio State would put them right on track, while the Buckeyes are trying to hoist another championship trophy, and they might as well pick up a wooden turtle along the way. Orange is the new opponent. Illinois against Ohio State. The football fever starts right now.
Welcome back to another edition of The Football Fever. The Buckeyes are on the road again this week, playing in Champaign, Illinois for the first time in 10 years in a top 17 matchup with the Fighting Illini. I'm Kellyanne Stitts, joined by our cast of former Buckeyes, Jay Richardson, Obie Stillwell, Ben Buchanan. This Illinois team, guys, turned it around after taking it on the chin by Indiana. What are you guys' thoughts leading into this matchup? Really quick, I want to see quarterback Julian Sain continue to take progression. We saw him taking shots in Minnesota. I'm eager to see on the road in this ranked opponent if they kind of wait for him to get into a rhythm and then open up the playbook. What about you, Jay?
You know what, I'll say this right now. A lot of people are going to wonder which Illinois team is going to show up.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the guys that were able to beat USC, or is it going to be the dudes that got absolutely dragged up and down the field by Kirk Cignetti and that IU team? And what has been consistent with with Illinois is they just do not play good defense, guys. And I could go through the numbers and then the rankings, and I have a bunch of them. Obie, I'm going to let you do that because I know you always got some good numbers for us. But what I'm going to say is when you cut on the tape, man, these guys just don't look good on defense. Bad against the run, something like 101st against the nation against the run, and not good against the pass. So I want to see Ohio State take advantage and have a fast start. They've struggled to have fast starts. I want to see a fast start.
Obie?
Illinois they give up a lot of points. I think it's interesting, though, the Indiana-Illinois game, the reason why I believe that Ryan Day just tossed out that tape was, one, Illinois secondary, though they struggled, they were actually second string, third string players that particular Indiana game. So that's a lot of things that doesn't come out necessarily in that, but I think that was significant.
Still should be, it still also, though, should be a good day for Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith.
No
Ben,
doubt.
what about you?
Guys, Matt Patricia, this defense is elite, as we know. Think about this, 5 points a game, and that's through playing Texas, although not as good as we thought necessarily. Washington, I think, is a very good football team, the more it's developing this year. But 5 points a game. We're going to see some rotations on the defensive line today, I think is going to be special. But have to watch out. Luke Altmaier, the quarterback, is a very good quarterback for Illinois. You talk about the best QBR in the Big Ten, 0 interceptions. This guy takes care of the football. It's one thing you'll see with a mature quarterback. So to see the defensive line get after him today, though, I think is going to be the key to this.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown an interception yet this season. So this would be a good test for this elite defense against a very experienced quarterback. Well, we almost have a packed house this morning in studio, just missing one of our key pieces to our favorite crew, who is back out on the road. Dave Holmes joins us live in Champaign this morning ahead of kickoff. Dave, your last trip with the Buckeyes was to Seattle. I've never been to Champaign, but I'd imagine this is a much different scenery. How's it going, Dave?
Yeah, it's certainly not the shores of Lake Washington, but it is a beautiful day. We'll talk more about the weather here in just a minute. It's been a while since the Buckeyes have played a game here in Champaign, Illinois, 10 years to be exact. This will be Ryan Day's first trip of any kind to this venue. He was not on Urban Meyer's staff back in 2015, last time they played here. Now, Jay Rich touched on something that I want to touch on here at the top of the show. Very interesting how you break down this Illinois team, because they're 5-1. They're ranked 17th in the nation. Before the season, we circled this one as one of the more difficult games on the schedule. And this Illini team has beaten Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan, USC, Purdue. But it's that head scratcher 3 weeks ago against Indiana that we can't figure out. How did this team go to Bloomington, Indiana, and lose 63-10? They made the Hoosiers look like the '85 Bears that day. After the game, their head coach Brett Bielema said, "Never again in my career am I going to let my team go into a game unprepared like they were that day." So I asked Ryan Day earlier this week, how do you analyze that game film? How do you explain a good team losing by 53 points, and how do you use that film to prepare? Here's what Ryan told me.
Pitch the game, throw it out. It's not who they are. I can't quite explain that game. You know, Brett's, again, one of the better coaches in the country, and you know, he's a resilient guy, and they're a resilient team. So, you know, we all know that going through a tough loss can bring a bunch of people together. I think they've done that.
Across the street right now from Memorial Stadium. This area is called Grange Grove. It's named after one of the all-time legends of the game, Red Grange. There's also a statue of him right outside the stadium. He's a proud Illinois alum. The stadium is also pretty cool. It has those old-fashioned pillars. It reminds me a lot of Soldier Field, not too far from here, where the Chicago Bears play. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and be humble here on live television, because you all know all week I talk trash about Champaign, Illinois, and I said it's always ugly and dreary and a lazy, sleepy noon kickoff 11 local. Well, this morning I woke up, and for breakfast I poured myself a big bowl of crow, because it is 64, not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful. This is the best football weather we've had for any game all season. Can't wait for a big noon kickoff here when the Bucks take on the Illini.
Well, thanks so much, Dave. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself out there in Champaign, Illinois. Now, one mentioned that he brought that score, 63-10 loss to Indiana. Woof, seemed to set Illinois back and prove some of their haters right. But that was this Fighting Illini team is different. They're ranked too high, you know, all that speak. But they were able to bounce back with that win against USC. And Jay, how do you explain though their loss to the Hoosiers? Like, you know, as you mentioned, Ryan Day said, hey, throw out the film. This is a different Illini team. They're able to bounce back. But I mean, that's a tough loss. Man.
Yeah, and you know, Dave said it right there. It was a head-scratching loss, man. I mean, when you look at some of these numbers from Luke Altmaier, this kid, you know, had 390 yards passing versus Purdue, 328 versus USC. He can throw the football, as Ben told us earlier. He is a legitimate quarterback who can play the game. Only 146 yards passing against Indiana. They only had 161 total yards as a football team against Indiana, which is unbelievable. I mean, I guess some of that speaks to IU's defense, but a lot of that speaks to what Illinois just did not get done in that game. And sometimes there are games in every season where you just go, what the heck were we doing yesterday?
Yeah.
And it's like you just don't know. Everything just went wrong for them.
Right.
And it was really, really ugly. But only one turnover. So they truly did just get outplayed, guys.
And there's a lot of parity right now in college football. We've seen some head-scratching losses just across the college football world. But look, guys, they have a really experienced quarterback. One of the reasons this Illinois team is so resilient is because of that leadership at quarterback. So far this year, Luke Altmaier has thrown for over 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns. The cherry on top, he's tossed 0 interceptions. All of this has combined to give Altmaier the best QBR in the Big Ten. He's got talent, something both Coach Day and his players say they're well aware of.
The Big Ten right now has some great quarterbacks, and he's exactly one of them. Like you said, you know, he's one of the top guys in the conference, and not only does he make great decisions, he gets the ball out quick, he's accurate. He knows exactly how they're trying to attack a defense.
I think he's a great quarterback in the scheme. He's a great quarterback. He fitted well. He can run too. He's a good quarterback.
He's not only a threat, you know, with his arm, but he's pretty fast, and we're doing a good job of game planning for him, and he does a really good job of operating that offense. He's a veteran at it, and he's good with his reads.
Those experienced guys who have seen it before, there's a lot they can recall. He's won some big games before, and he's a really good quarterback.
Now, Altmaier may not be a true dual threat like Washington's Damon Williams, but he is good with his feet when needed, and he has a great arm, and above all, he has the experience. Obie, do you think this is the toughest test for the defense? He's certainly, by far, the most experienced quarterback the defense has seen this year.
Yeah, not to repeat too many stats, but he is the first FBS quarterback with 250-plus passing yards per game, 12-plus passing yards, 12-plus touchdowns with, as you alluded to, 15. 0 interceptions through 6 games. No one has done that since Marcus Mariota in 2014. So if you look at this type of quarterback, he's smart, he's athletic, he has a strong arm, he's an accurate passer. But I really want to hit on the intelligence aspect of it, because he's going to have to be able to recognize not only the defense that Ohio State shows, but the defense that Ohio State actually audibles into, if you will, or actually transitions into, because Ohio State will show a zone and go to man, or show man and go to zone. Here's the difference. Are you able to audible, but that's one level. But the next level is on-site adjustments. While the play is actually happening, can you actually transition into, hey, listen, if they're showing man and they go to zone, this is what I need you to do, right? I need you to break that route off. I need you to sit in the pocket. But if they're started zone and they go to man, then I need you to press it, right? So that's a hard task for a college athlete to do. That's why a lot of people are saying, is Patricia just picking on these kids right now with this pro-style defense?
He certainly looks like he is, right? Well, this game against Almeyer and the Illini is also giving us flashbacks to a certain Nebraska team last year. The Cornhuskers were just like Illinois, destroyed by the Hoosiers. The very next week, Nebraska came to the shoe and almost beat the Buckeyes. Do you think we could see a repeat of this scenario today, Ben?
Yeah, I hope not, guys, because you look at that last year, the 2024 Indiana versus Nebraska game. Indiana puts up a 56 spot, Nebraska 7 there, and then they come the very next week to Ohio Stadium, and it's a 21-7 kind of 17 rather nail biter to where it's within a score at Ohio Stadium. You see Carnell Tate catching a great score there, but to me, this just comes down to maturity when you talk about this Ohio State football team. They are the better team in every capacity. We know that. And, you could call it coach speak. I really don't think it is, though. This is Illinois' Super Bowl, right? You're going to have the chance to play the #1 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and this is their Super Bowl. So what Ohio State has to do is to be a mature football team, handle your business, offense, defense, and special teams. And it's anyone's game in college football. We've seen that with last week. You talk about an 0-4 UCLA Bruins team beating the top 10 Penn State Nittany Lions. If that doesn't get you up and say, hey, I don't care if I'm in Champaign, Illinois, Lincoln, Nebraska, Miami, Florida, I got to bring it every single day in major college football. We saw it just this last week.
And the Buckeyes, they've adopted this hunger mindset, even though they're defending national champions. So, and we've seen that maturity too with them on the road against Washington.
Totally.
They'll bring that again in Champaign. But how well do we know Bo? He's one of the new faces making a quiet yet effective impact on the defensive line. After the break, we'll introduce you to the North Carolina kid who swapped sky blue for scarlet and gray. Welcome back. In the Atlas Butler defensive checkup, we're highlighting one of the newest additions to the Silver Bullets. He once sported the sky blue of North Carolina, but traded Chapel Hill for Columbus this offseason. Bo Atkinson, coming to Ohio State as one of the more soft-spoken but just as highly touted recruits, the 6'6" edge rusher has been quietly efficient, making his presence felt in big games like this athletic play on Arch Manning. I went one-on-one with the D lineman and getting to know Bo, starting with how fun it is to be a part of this elite defense.
It's been great. It's been great. I like getting to know all the guys, and obviously winning helps a lot.
You're part of an elite defense, but there's this hunger mindset with this team. Where do you guys feel like you need to improve on defense?
I think all around we could play a lot better. For me, myself, I want to do better in some tackling phases and keeping my pad level low. But I think everybody has that same mindset where nobody feels like we've arrived at all, and that we still have a lot more to go.
How fun is it playing for Matt Patricia?
Oh, he's amazing. I love Coach Patricia. He does a great job schematically putting us in great situations, but also like off the field, he's just such a great dude, and you could tell that he cares about everybody on our team.
He's a wizard schematically, but how would you describe him as a teacher and his ability to connect with you guys and convey what he wants done on the field?
Yeah, I think he does a good job of like meeting people where they're at, and so like some people have different learning styles. So some people might need more hands-on, while others can just hear it and just be able to apply it that way. So I think he does a great job of being accustomed to like whoever he's working with.
How has Coach Johnson helped get the most out of you so far?
Yeah, Coach A's been amazing. I mean, he's a super hardworking guy himself, and then also like just he pushes all of us super hard. And I think that mentality's kind of like shifted even into the leaders of our team, into like it's never enough, and you got to be hungry for more all the time.
And to get to know you, Bo, a little bit better, I know you don't have a lot of time outside of football, but what do you enjoy doing?
Well, it's harder to do it in season, but in the off season, I like going fishing a lot. Basically anything outdoors, game nights, just anything, pretty much anything competitive or outside. That's kind of like what I love to do.
For you and looking at your family, you're obviously very tall and have athletic ability. Does it come from anybody in your family?
Yeah, I mean, both my brothers are also 6'5". My dad, he played football at UConn. He's 6'3", and my mom played volleyball. She's 5'10". And then my grandpa, my mom's dad, he's like 6'8". So
wow.
Yeah, yep.
How much did your dad inspire your career?
He's been a huge influence on me too. Just seeing how hard he works every day, going to work, and then just doing it all for our family. It's been definitely very inspiring.
And who would you describe as your best friend on the team?
It's a tough choice. I like all the guys in our room a lot. KJ, Caden. I mean, I feel like we have a really tight-knit group, and that's been good.
Part of the reason for Bo's seamless transition from UNC to OSU was Matt Patricia. The defensive coordinator has turned these Silver Bullets into the most feared and efficient defense in the country. And the consensus at the Woody is they love playing for the mad scientist.
I think he's doing a great job. Like, he put me in a lot of different spots, put me in a lot of different roles, and just show how versatile I am.
The football knowledge side of it, I think guys are really starting to understand the game. It's bigger than just understanding the play and understanding your job, understanding what's the offense trying to do here, what part of the defense are they trying to attack, what's their mindset going throughout the game and stuff like that.
Patricia, who has a bachelor's degree in aeronautical engineering, has engineered an elite defense by maximizing the player's potential and using creativity to disguise coverages with his use of Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, and Caleb Downs. Patricia has installed a multiple defense that multiple Buckeyes enjoy playing in, including linebacker Peyton Pierce. Listen to these comments about the new defensive coordinator.
I got to know him pretty well. It was a lot different than previous, defensive coordinator. I talked to Patricia more probably his first 2 days here than I did with our whole defensive coordinator my whole time being here. So he's poured into all of us, and he does every single day.
So it's more than X's and O's. I've seen Patricia hanging back at the Woody after their practices, talking with the players and spending time with the guys sitting on the bench or even on the turf sometimes. Now, Peyton played 2 seasons under former defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. Obie, what are your thoughts about the difference with Matt Patricia and Jim Knowles, especially after hearing those kind of comments?
You know what? I'm going to dip real quick into Brian Hartline. Coach Ryan Day said something about Brian Hartline that I thought was interesting. He said Brian is starting to really understand that it's about the players, not the plays. Right? That he calls.
That's good.
That's very similar to Coach Knowles because I believe that Coach Knowles believed that the call should make the stop and not the player. But Matt Patricia believes that the player should make the stop and not the call. right? So the emphasis is more on the players and putting them in a good position to allow them to play. Now, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, you don't know how long we'll have. I know Sonny's a senior, but that is creating a very diverse and very dimensional defense, right? You look at Sonny Styles, bless his heart, strong safety. He's played strong safety, free safety, boundary. He's played the Will linebacker, the Sam linebacker, the Mike linebacker. If you want to know, you call Patricia the mad scientist. Who is the person who is actually interpreting what he wants actually on the field? That's the one with the green dot. And that's Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles has the green dot, and he has to make sure that these guys are in place and understanding what the coach is calling. So there's so many aspects of this that are amazing. But the thing is, it's so simple. It's very complicated in one aspect, but it's very simple. He's allowing these players to play. He's just putting them in the position. And there's really, it's almost like a positionless defense because he's like, they can actually move Arvell Reese up and move Sonny Styles up and then bring Caleb Downs and play a 6-1 defense with Caleb Downs acting as the linebacker. They are just amazing when it comes to how much talent that Ohio State has on this defense. And that allows for the diversity in this defense.
And a lot of the guys talked about just how much fun they're having playing freely, not having to think as much and just going at it too. And I love the evolution of Sonny Styles, right?
He's a little bit of a versatile player is what you're saying,
right? A little bit of versatility,
and his intellect. I just want to make sure that we really, really emphasize his cognitive ability to understand and interpret what coaches actually want to.
You can see it out there.
Absolutely. Now, Ben, per Ohio State's availability report today, defensive tackle Edric Houston is out, and so is defensive back Lorenzo Styles Jr. Now, we can expect Tywone Malone to start in his place at defensive tackle for Edric, but other guys have done a great job of rotating in on this defensive line. I'm sure they want to force and make Luke Altmaier uncomfortable today, right? That's what you have to do. But do you think that affects what they're trying to do on defense today?
Yeah, I think they're going to try to get pressure. They're going to try to get pressure any way they can. It's good to see, Edric. He's been in and out this season, as we know. But you mentioned the names of Will Smith Jr., Tywone Malone, Jason Moore. Those are going to be some of the names that we see kind of rolling in and out of there. And it just provides greater versatility for this football team. I think that's what we're going to see. There was a great quote last week that we had on the show that I thought was very impactful. A lot of the youngsters, you can kind of hold tight to this one. Once you think you're someone, you're no one, and that's really what this team is embodied. They're such a humble football team. Doesn't matter who's getting the credit. We'll say, right, great football teams are deep with talent. Elite football teams are deep with talent, and they don't care who gets the credit, right? And that's what we're really seeing with this 2025 Buckeye squad. So if it's Will Smith, if it's Tywone Malone, whoever Matt Patricia is putting in there to make these elite plays we're going to see today. And they call themselves, right, a bunch of no-names, right? I mean, think of that. You're an Ohio State Buckeye, and they have every right to say something like that, no, we're a bunch of no-names. We're out here, and we're quietly probably the best defense in the country, allowing 5 points a game. Pretty dang impressive.
That's culture.
Yeah,
that's culture.
That's exactly what it is.
Playing with this chip on the shoulder and to instill that in guys who are part of a national championship team, and I love this mentality. They want to prove themselves. They want to make a name for themselves, and that all goes back to the preseason when they said we're attacking a national championship. These guys were like, throw that. That was last year. We're trying to create a story and a legacy for this team this year. Now, this Buckeyes defense has improved every aspect of their game since Patricia's arrival. One area that we've seen the most improvement is their ability to stop mobile quarterbacks and red zone efficiency. For more on that, we'll send things over to our Jay Richardson, who's breaking down the tale of the tape.
Thanks so much, Kellyanne. All right, everyone wants to know which defense is better, the 2024 championship defense or the 2025 new improved Matt Patricia Buckeyes. We're going to start things off that first Oregon game. This is red zone defense, and I need people to understand how important red zone defense is. It's where you stop the other team from scoring, and right away, what do you notice? Single high safety in Latham Ransom, and you got everyone manned up on the perimeter. So if you're a quarterback, you know a couple things. One, every one of these defenders will be staring at that wide receiver, which means you have no eyes on you if you're Dylan Gabriel, Mr. Heisman finalist. And let's see what Dylan Gabriel does once he sees this man coverage. Fakes the handoff to the running back, pulls it, and then boom. Him and Latham Ransom one-on-one in the hole. That is not what you want if you're a safety. That's a hard tackle to make. I don't care who you are. And sure enough, he gets in there for 6, strike up the band. Now, what people have to realize is how this breakdown went wrong. And these are some difference between Knowles and Patricia when it comes to red zone defense. You have to have a man for man. So everyone has a responsibility. You got Sonny. He's responsible for that tight end. And you got Mr. J.T. Tuimoloau, number 44, legendary player for Ohio State, responsible for the quarterback, not the running back. Look who he decides to take. Oh, he took the cheese. He goes to the running back, and he leaves his man Latham Ransom on an island with a quarterback who's already running downhill. That's a tough, tough tackle to make. Bad, bad angles. So when these kinds of things happen, right away you know as a defense, okay, yeah, we got great defenders, but we have a bad scheme when it comes to red zone. And if you're getting blocked on the perimeter like Iggy is, it's going to be really hard to recover and make that tackle. And now, new and improved, Matt Patricia Buckeyes. What's the first thing we notice? Yeah. You got a man look down here, but you got some guys playing off. You got two safeties back here already, so you have a lot of big vision of everyone in this shell looking at the quarterback. Why? Well, because that's Desmond Williams, and this guy is known for making guys miss and getting big-time touchdowns in the red zone. So what do they do differently? Already you're noticing. There's a spy involved. There's no one that has right away to come downhill because he understands that I have to figure out what this quarterback's going to do. And Arvell Reese makes probably one of the best plays you're going to see by a defender in college football in space, engages the blocker, gets out there, moves his feet. By the way, this kid's 6'4", 240 pounds, all muscle and all fast twitch muscle fiber. And that is critical because you have to be able to get this kid right here on the ground. Also, what does the quarterback see? He sees zone coverage. He sees some man underneath, but he also sees that there's nobody open. And when there's nobody open, he feels courage. I'm going to go get a first down or a touchdown. No, you're not, because we got Arvell Reese and you don't. That is the difference in this defense for the Buckeyes in 2025. I'm telling you right now, we run it back to the Arch Manning tape with Texas. It was the same thing. They're looking to pick apart. Yes, it does look like there's some man up top, but no, it is not. These guys are literally playing a short zone, just looking for the quarterback run, and they continue to stuff it. That right there was second down, and then you got third down coming up, and what you're ultimately going to see is a goal line stand for the Ohio State Buckeyes where they absolutely crushed Texas. And they really crushed everybody. So this is a defense that has given up 0 red zone touchdowns in 2025, which is incredible. Last season, the Jim Knowles defense gave up 16 red zone touchdowns. So you would imagine through about 5 weeks, they would have given up maybe 5, maybe 6. That is 0 this year. I got to tell you, the 2025 Buckeyes are already looking like a much better crew than last year's.
Great stuff from RJ Richardson. Now coming up, we take a look at this forgotten rivalry with a wooden turtle at its centerpiece. We take a look into the interesting story behind the Illbuck Trophy in just 3 minutes. All right, in this week's J&G Pepsi Fantastic Photo of the Week, we want to shout out one of our fantastic directors, Ben, whose love for the Buckeyes knows no bounds. He loves them so much, he's even willing to take a picture with one of the more bizarre yet historic rivalry trophies in college football right there. Yes, that wooden turtle is a trophy. It's called the Illibuck, and it's awarded to the winner of the Ohio State Illinois game. The Illibuck may be wooden right now, but that wasn't always the case. It actually used to look like this. Yes, the Illibuck used to be a real living turtle. When the trophy was first introduced in 1925, the intention was for the turtle to be traded back and forth and cared for by the school's honor society it was associated with. A turtle was chosen because of its expected long lifespan in order to symbolize that long life of the rivalry, but the original turtle died just a year later. In its place, wooden replicas were made that have served as the trophy ever since. For more on this historic rivalry and the odd trophy that comes with it, let's send things out back to our Dave Holmes in Champaign, Illinois. Hey, Dave.
It's wild to think about a time that they were passing back and forth live turtles. What kind of savage world did we used to live in? Yeah, the Illibuck's bizarre, and it really hasn't been contested in quite some time. As I said, the Buckeyes haven't played here in 10 years in Champaign. Been 7 years since these teams met. They were supposed to play back in 2020 here at Memorial Stadium. That game was canceled for COVID. So finally, we have the Illibuck on the line, and that's one of the cool things about college football. You don't get this in the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball. These bizarre rivalries that have been founded on these silly trophies. So today it's the Illibuck, but guys, there are so many of these funny trophies all over college football. We're going to educate you now on some of the unusual rivalry games. One of them that I love is Alabama-Birmingham against Memphis. They called that game the Battle of the Bones. Now, this was established back in 2006. Birmingham and Memphis pride themselves on being two of the best barbecue cities in the country. So they decide to play for a 100-pound bronze statue, a rack of ribs. Now, if you know me, you know I love barbecue. I love this rivalry, the Battle of the Bones. We have fought wars over religion. We have fought wars over oil. I believe there are some things worth fighting for, guys, and barbecue is at the top of that list. I love me the Battle of the Bones.
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you so much. Now, the Illibuck Trophy's home was in the Buckeyes equipment trunk this weekend. Ohio State has won 9 straight in the series, but as Dave said, there are a lot of unique trophies associated with traditional college football rivalries. Some of them are so unique that they're strange. So we all decided on our favorites. Obie, let's start with you. Which one did you pick?
I picked the Bunyan axe.
All right,
there it is. Paul Bunyan
wow,
axe. Yes.
A huge axe.
Yes, it is, and it just represents masculinity in football. So I went with that.
All right, Ben, what was your
I like
trophy?
that. Football guys going after the X. Mine's a little long. Bear with me here.
Okay.
There's two stories, two sides to the story, if you will. Mine's called the Iron Skillet, and I think we're going to see it right now. This is SMU versus TCU. SMU says the rivalry began as a tradition back in 1946. An SMU fan was frying a frog before that year's game. The TCU fan walked by and basically said, you know, that's a huge no-no, telling the SMU fan that eating the frog legs was well beyond the rivalry, declared that whoever won that day had the right to both the skillet and the frog legs. SMU won the first one there. Now, TCU's version is a little more mundane, as we could say. It was done by SMU Student Council, proposed the idea of presenting a trophy to the winning team, and an idea TCU kind of gladly accepted this through the two governing bodies. So I don't know about you guys. I like the first one. You're seeing these frog legs going by in the hunt right there, and they ended up going with the first one. That's what I'm going with.
I'm going to take us out west to war-torn Oregon for the Oregon State and Oregon Trophy, which is a platypus, guys. I don't know if you know about platypuses or what they look like. I don't know that trophy looks exactly like it, but that's what they fight over. And apparently that animal is native to out there, and it's a cool trophy. I just thought it looked very unique.
There you go.
Maybe it used to be a real platypus back in the day.
Maybe.
I can make up a great story for you, but I'm not going to do that.
We'll have to do some digging. Now, mine is between two Division III programs that can literally troll each other when they play each other. Concordia Moorhead versus St. Olaf out of Minnesota. Guys, look at this. They literally exchange a homemade trophy as an ode to both colleges' shared Norwegian heritage created back in 1974. Now, do you guys know the alleged haunted doll Annabelle? Well, this looks like its cousin.
Oh, I know.
Like, this
I
is
watch the scary movies.
Yeah, this
I
is
get that
terrifying.
back. You can have that.
You can have it.
Yeah,
you can have it.
that.
Right?
The troll is very interesting. Now, coming up on the Football Fever, playing on the offensive line takes a lot of guts with little glory. So one former Buckeye decided to change that and create an award to celebrate the big guys up front here in Ohio. That's next on the Football Fever. Welcome back to the Football Fever. Former Ohio State offensive lineman Paris Johnson Jr. is in his third season protecting quarterback Kyler Murray on the Arizona Cardinals, but the Cincinnati native made time to create a first-of-its-kind award here in Ohio to celebrate the big guys up front.
Offensive linemen by nature are servers, and they want to be able to serve other people.
Cardinals offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. wants to serve the Ohio football community by creating the inaugural Ohio High School Offensive Lineman of the Year award to empower the unsung heroes in the trenches.
You think about it, you can't run the ball without an offensive lineman. You can't pass the ball without an offensive lineman. And so this is our way of giving back and highlighting the guys that are in the trenches.
The award will be given to a senior offensive lineman. Monica Daniels, Paris's mother and the executive director of the Paris Johnson Jr. Foundation, says the winner will be recognized for their work on the field, but also in the classroom and in the community.
Paris is an amazing athlete, but Paris is an exceptional human being. And so he gives back to his community. And so giving back to the community and being a person of character is extremely important.
The selection committee consists of former Bengals offensive tackle and 1996 first-round pick Willie Anderson, Ohio State Hall of Fame offensive lineman LaCharles Bentley, Paris, and other Ohio football figures. Ohio State left guard Luke Montgomery, who played football at Findlay High School, says this initiative hits home.
You know, there's not really a reward for our play, like Mr. Football and stuff like that. Odds of getting that is really low. So for Paris to take initiative on that and just start something like that, I think it's really special. Paris, however we can help here, we'd be glad to. So good luck to those guys in the 2026 class, and hopefully you win it.
The Offensive Lineman of the Year watch list is out, and there are 4 linemen on the list from Central Ohio. The winner is set to be announced at the Division I state championship game in December, and that player will be treated to a VIP experience with Paris when the Bengals host the Cardinals on December 28th. Monica tells me they have the full support of the OHSAA, and they hope to add to this award in the future. Now, he may be considered wide receiver 2 here at the Shoe, but anywhere else in the country, he's the top receiver. Coming up, how Carnell Tate continues to put the college football world and NFL on notice. Stick around.
If he were on any other team,
he would be mentioned among the top receivers in the nation. And as I've said, he's kind of got Emeka Egbuka disease, which is you're never the main guy, so people overlook you. Then all of a sudden you go to the NFL, everyone's like, oh, you were good all along. Yeah, we've known this about Carnell. So what's your guys' take on Carnell Tate?
I most certainly think he's one of the best in the country. Outside of Jeremiah Smith, I'd say he's the top 2 or 3 wide receivers out there. You go and watch him play, watch him get in and out of his breaks, watch him make the ball adjustments.
Carnell Tate is the best route runner in the country. Let's start there. Outside of being one of the top receivers in the country. He don't have freakishly size. He don't have freakishly unbelievable athletic ability. He got great speed, but he is the best route runner in the country. Getting in and out of his breaks, he has one speed, and that's 100% 24/7.
Good stuff on this week's episode of The Script, a podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube or hit us up on Apple or Spotify. I do it every Wednesday with my guys, Beanie Wells and Cardale Jones. But interesting discussion there on Carnell Tate, because all the attention goes to number 4, Jeremiah Smith, and rightfully so. But last week, Carnell Tate had 9 catches for 183 yards and a touchdown against Minnesota. Ryan Day has told us that Carnell Tate has gotten better watching Jeremiah Smith, which is a little unusual since he's older than the sophomore phenom, but that actually runs both ways too. Listen to Jeremiah Smith talking about what he sees in Carnell Tate.
It's pretty frustrating. Everybody that we play against just want to take me out the game. But, last week showed that we got another dominant receiver on the other side of the field.
And that's what's so difficult about this Ohio State team. When Julian Sain's throwing the deep ball and you have the 2 best wide receivers in college football, Max Clare, there are a lot of weapons on this team, and you can't cover them all. We know Illinois' defense is suspect at best. That's going to be exploited this afternoon here in Champaign. And we have more Fever from Champaign coming up next. Welcome back to the Football Fever live from Memorial Stadium in Champaign, Illinois. Earlier in the show, we talked about some traditions in college football, and there are few better than Script Ohio and dotting the I. 1 week ago at Ohio Stadium, Dublin native Sydney Reeves dotted the I, and in doing so, she joined an exclusive club. In fact, it's so exclusive, she's the only member in it. This story is brought to you by the letter I. But it doesn't take place on Sesame Street. It takes place on Woody Hayes Drive, where games are won and dreams are achieved.
I wanted to dot the I.
Meet Sydney Reeves. Sydney with an I?
No, with a Y.
And Y is more than a letter. It's a question. Why has Sydney Reeves wanted to dot the I her entire life? You have to look at her family, beginning with her mother, Wendy. Is that Wendy with an I?
Nope, with a Y.
And yet the letter I defines the Reeves family. On October 10th, 1992, in a game against Illinois, Wendy dotted the I at Ohio Stadium. 1 year later, on September 11th, 1993, Wendy's husband, Chad, dotted the I against Washington. So now you can understand the why behind Sydney's I.
She has been so determined to meet this goal. She set this goal when she was so young.
It's a dream that grew stronger during Sydney's time at Dublin Kaufman High School, and a story that no one else on earth has ever lived. How unusual this is to have three people in the same family.
Sydney is the only child of two I daughters to have dotted the I.
Sydney chose to walk in her parents' footsteps, or more accurately, strut in her parents' footsteps. Dun, 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 and then we're going where? Where do we go?
And then we go all the way.
Okay. And we got to strut
We're
this far.
strutting this
We're
whole
strut.
time with a 35-pound horn on. So we're.
That's a heavy strut.
It is a heavy strut.
But sadly, Sydney is used to carrying a heavy weight. 4 years ago, her father, Chad, passed away unexpectedly. So he's not here to see his daughter make history.
My dad was one of my favorite people in the world. I wish I could have asked him how he felt or had him see me do this.
And now, Chad's little girl is ready to live out her very big dream. I don't think we're in Dublin Kaufman anymore.
No, not at all.
This is the big time.
This is the big time.
With 100,000 fans and one proud mother watching,
I have one single seat all alone up in D deck.
Sydney with a Y is about to dot the I. Sometimes the biggest dreams don't happen at the end of the fourth quarter. They happen at halftime. For a nervous mother, an excited daughter, and a father who couldn't be there. But sometimes life doesn't go according to script.
I would love for him to be here. It would complete the circle, but you can't determine how life will be, and you can't regret how life has been.
And that's the thing about eyes. Whether you're dotting them or drying them, the eyes are the window to the soul. Time now for our Hyundai keys to the game. Seeing red. The red zone is key. The Ohio State defense hasn't allowed a red zone touchdown all season. Meantime, Illinois has given up 13 TDs in 18 to their opponents. Perfect 10. Illinois struggles when it comes to rushing the passer. Keep number 10, Julian Sayin, clean in the pocket. He'll pick him apart. And Luke, I am your father. Illinois quarterback Luke Altmaier hasn't thrown an interception all season. The easiest way to spoil an upset bid is to force turnovers. Let's see if the Bucks can be the first team to pick them off all season. Guys, a beautiful day here in Champaign. They brought it with the weather. They brought it with the vibes. Can't wait for the Buckeyes and the Illini to kick it off here in just a few minutes on Fox 28. For now, we're live in Champaign. Let's go back to the studio. Final thoughts from Kellyanne and the fellas.
Thanks, Dave, who's also bringing it for us this morning. Now, before we give our final thoughts, we're going to give our final score predictions in the Prime Sportsbook Picks of the Day. Guys, how do you think this one will end? Remember, you must be 21 and older to play. Odds subject to change, and if you think you might have a gambling problem, make sure to call 1-800-GAMBLER. So I'm going
to go for this one, 38-14 Buckeyes. I think it will be a convincing win, and I got to give my guy, Jaden Fielding a field goal, guys. You know that.
Yeah,
give him the 3 points as well. What do you got?
Yeah, you know what? Scratch that. I have a new score.
You have a new score.
Yes,
Wow.
I have 34-20. 34-20. Just
one.
remember that. Remember that.
Okay.
34-20.
He felt that one. I'm 35-10. That's mine.
I got
Jay?
the most extreme score because I just extremely have zero respect for Illinois' defense.
You really do.
I'm going 42-9. I think they get in the field goal range 3 times and we obliterate them.
You know what, Jay? I love it. Now, before we go, we're going to give our final thoughts, kind of piggybacking off that, guys. Looking at today's game, as I mentioned earlier in the show, I want to see Julian Sayin continue to take those next steps. Once he gets into the rhythm, it'd be great to see him open up the playbook and take shots like he did against Minnesota. And defensively, again, I think this is the biggest test of the season because of just how much experience Luke Altmaier brings. I like Dave with his prediction or keys to the game, talking about you have to force him to make him uncomfortable, force that turnover from him. He hasn't thrown an interception all season. If I could see the defense giving up a touchdown. If they do, I think they'll adjust right away. They're not going to like that, and then hold them to field goals. So that's why I also had the 35-10.
Yeah.
But
no, it makes sense. Bielema he's a little different. He scares me a little bit, just slightly. You know, I think he might have a little something in his pocket, right? And so, but at the end of the day, I think Buckeyes will come out on top. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Altmaier actually adjusts to the defense. But I think they might have a little wrinkle in there to have an answer to Patricia.
Okay.
It looks like it's a beautiful day out there today, according to our meteorologist, Dave Holmes. It said it was 64, light winds and stuff. I don't know about you guys. I remember him playing at Champaign, Illinois, maybe just being a specialist. It can be a wind tunnel. Sometimes there's a lot of wind in adverse environments. Doesn't look like it's going to be a problem today, but I would love to see us establish the run in this football game. Listen, we know the 2025 Ohio State Buckeyes can throw the football. That's well established, but Bo Jackson continuing to get better each and every game.
I like that.
CJ Donaldson, James People, to be an elite football team, you have to run the football and be a balanced team.
But
Illinois they've done a solid job of doing it so far too.
Illinois secondary is the weakest part of this.
And they're going to attack that.
Carnell and JJ should have quite the day.
You're looking at a team in Illinois that in the Big Ten gives up almost 500 yards per game of offense, guys. It's absolutely awful. I got a feeling that the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to be aggressive, start fast. Last week, Sayin threw the ball over 20 yards more than 4 times. He's going to probably do that more than 8 times this afternoon. And I do like what Ben said. I think Bo Jackson goes for over 100 yards, and the Buckeyes do score 40 or more points in today.
Jay, but is Illinois weird? Is Illinois
weird? It's a weird place.
It's a weird place, right?
They put us up in a motel back in the day when you stay there.
Yes.
This is a strange
weird trophy.
It's weird.
But the Buckeyes, I think we all consensus believe that they'll get the job done as number 1 team in the country today. Well, that'll do it for the football fever. The Buckeyes and the Fighting Illini kick off in just a few minutes over on Fox. Join us all for the Fever post-game show at 11 right here on ABC. Enjoy the game, and everybody,
go Bucks!
There we go.
Go Bucks.